It's wonderful to see such a great crowd here, and it's even better to know that the breakfast this morning there were even more. Look around this room and you see people who are helping to make tremendous change in the city. You know, about an hour after the tornado hit North Minneapolis, I took a helicopter ride, and I rode out over the city, and part of my job is to know where there is need in the city and where there is disparity in the city. And as I got up in that helicopter and looked over, my heart sank, because had that tornado made a choice to go after the people most in need in this city, it would have done a heck of a good job. Block after block after block I saw destroyed, mostly in places where there were people with great need. And just to make things worse, at the end of the whole trip across North Minneapolis, we got to the end, there's a little island out on the river. And there, every tree was flattened, and you saw all these birds frantically circling, and you realized that the rookery that had been there was torn down. And as the birds looked for their little babies, you could tell that despair was all over North Minneapolis. And I would have to say that as a person of faith, that is the kind of moment where you think, how could this act of God be done to those most in need? But the fact of the matter is that God was not floating in the air over North Minneapolis. God was on the ground in North Minneapolis. And we saw that for months at a time, and no single organization was more on the ground during the tornado than Urban Homeworks. Please thank them for the amazing work that they did on behalf of people in this community. They were awesome. And to see what they did during the tornado, to coordinate 3,000 volunteers, but to also do it the way they did it, to give humbly, to stand back and listen, was an amazing thing to observe. But those of you who are supporters of this group need to know we put tremendous pressure on them. We put tremendous burden on their shoulders, and we need to, especially this year, stand up and not only thank them, but give them the financial and spiritual capacity they need to do even more. I wish the job was done. There is much more work to be done, and I can't think of any group that is better to do it than the one you're supporting today. Thank you for supporting Urban Homeworks in the past. We need even more in the future, and if you can invest in anything today that's going to get a good payback, I can't think of anything better than Urban Homeworks. Thanks for being here and for supporting this group.